It's the first session back for Danielle Smith's UCP government since winning the spring election. The province laying out a number of priorities in this session's throne speech, including pushing back against Ottawa when it comes to developing Alberta's energy sector, as well a new bill that could give Albertans the power to vote on any tax increases. Energy, utility affordability, and the province's energy sector were all highlights in this throne speech, but referendum was the word of the day in the legislature. Albertans could see a referendum on whether or not the province pulls out of the Canada Pension Plan, but that not mentioned in the throne speech. Instead, a new bill tabled that would force Albertans to vote on whether or not taxes are raised.
Once we've established the levels, they aren't going to be adjusted unless there's a referendum. So the rate is going to stay where it is, and the basic personal exemption will never be lower, and the tax brackets will never be lower unless there's approval through a referendum.
The provincial government also firing back at Ottawa in this session's throne speech. Premier Smith saying the province is ready to invoke Albertan sovereignty over energy development.
Things like an aggressive emissions cap on oil and gas, an aggressive emissions cap on methane, an aggressive emissions cap on fertilizer, clean electricity regs that put an aggressive cap on or a target of net zero power by 2035. Those are all circumstances that if they proceed unilaterally, that we would have to defend our constitutional jurisdiction.
Also in the throne speech this year, high-speed rail between Edmonton and Calgary. Premier Smith says it's needed as the province's population is set to grow.
When we're on track to be a 10 million person province with 6 or 7 million people in that corridor between Calgary and Edmonton and Red Deer, plus draw a 1 hour drive around each one of those, when you have that kind of population, it all of a sudden becomes economic.
For their part, the opposition NDP says there's nothing in the throne speech to address affordability concerns for Albertans.
What are their priorities? Well, in part, to create mass economic uncertainty through the use of the Sovereignty Act and their unspoken today plan to pull out of the CPP. They are spending $7.5 million of Albertans' hard-earned money on ads for their scheme to gamble away Albertans' pensions.
Reporting from Edmonton, Darcy Ropchan, City News.